I want to be talking now about mental health diagnoses and to what extent are they a reflection of society and what needs to change in the systems rather than pathologizing the people. And I'm going to give some examples of this. So, let's say starting in the 90s, there was definitely an increase in people that had eating disorders and were diagnosed with eating disorders, but that actually had them as well. Okay, what was going on in the 90s? Well, people were idealizing, Hollywood especially, very thin, stick-figured people at that time. So what did we have? We had an uptick in eating disorders, for example. Then we step into the late 90s, early 2000s, and we see an uptick in ADHD diagnosis. Okay, well, historically, for example, in the baby boomer generation, the classrooms were very strict. If you were in Catholic school systems, for example, you had nuns. My dad was in one. He would get hit on the ruler if he wasn't sitting in his seat or doing what have you. Well, that kind of punishment was no longer acceptable in the school systems, but this idea of kids sitting in their seat for prolonged periods of time, etc., that was not basically productive, and it's not an effective way to teach anymore, indicating that a lot of reform in the education system needed to occur, right? Why are we having all of a sudden all of these ADHD diagnoses, for example? Then we have a big autism or Asperger's kind of onset around this time a little bit later. Well, where's that coming from? Well, there's theories about that coming from the food that we eat and what's in the food and the chemicals, or possibly from vaccines. I mean, there's different theories. There's no clear thing, but again, an indicator on a mass scale about what we're consuming somehow impact people are showing up potentially with mental health conditions as a result of it. Then we scoot into, now we're really in the time of neurodivergent diagnoses that are popping up, and what is this coming out like? What is this representative of? And I think right now we're in a time where that's actually representative of the people need to be unique. We're moving out of the time frame where all of this homogeneity, that everybody has to be the same way and fit in this particular box, is going out the window. Now we're in a time where we realize that our unique gifts and abilities, the things that make us unique, is actually where we're supposed to be leading into, and we're supposed to be expressing ourselves in our unique ways. And so instead of pathologizing it, we don't need to say we're neurodivergent all the time. It's just that, like, people are thinking in ways that we have never experienced before. So that's an exciting thing. But understand, like, what's showing up what here? And can we look at diagnoses over time in different ways to show actually the reflection of what needs to be changing in society, not necessarily pathologizing the people? Thanks for being here on Mental Health Mondays.